Hello, everybody. My name is George. I'm here with Carlos and Sub Two. We're gonna just kick back and get to know him a little better. This will be my first time knowing him, so hopefully you guys enjoy this conversation just as much as I know I'm going to. And so, with no further ado, Giancarlo Orozco or Arroz con Pollo, please tell us a little bit about where you came from, what you're doing now, and maybe how we can work together in the near future.
Yeah, George, thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking time for this. Yeah, I mean, I joined Sub 2 community in February 2022, and the first year I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I
Wow.
started figuring out I really wanted to be a landlord in January 2023, and from them to now, I managed to buy several homes, maybe 20 something homes, all with private money partnerships. But
Wow.
Yeah, but that's not the reason for this podcast. There's even a greater reason why you have me here
Mm.
today, and it's there's a greater skill I have than buying actually that
Okay.
some people know about, some people don't. 'Cause I stay on the down low, and that's foreclosures.
Okay.
Maybe and so your audience may be wondering, well, what's he know about foreclosures? Because you see, George, the whole time that first year I didn't know what I was doing, there was one thing I always had that from the very get go of joining that I
What's
was
that?
able to monetize and, you know, really help out with, which is foreclosures. What people don't know is that before I joined Sub 2, I had a W 2, right? And that W 2, I was actually working in loss mitigation for
Wow.
loan care. So
Nice.
I was actually I'm ex loss mitigation specialist,
Mhm.
and so I know all the tricks in the book. If I'm a ninja, I have the shurikens, I have the the weapons and stuff. I know how to manipulate the situation for wholesalers, for investors who have foreclosure
Right.
leads. I could stop auctions, partial claims, loan mods. I even did the HAF program, homeowner assistance fund program for
Yes.
some leads. So that's kind of why I'm here today because foreclosures are the way to go, but it's something I can
Gotcha.
definitely help with. Yes.
Nice, man. That's something I just just blew my mind up. Boom, like no, that's a no brainer. Coming from loss mitigations and obviously hearing people's stories, and I'm pretty sure, as I don't know if you learned that with Sub Two, already had that in place of being able to use these stories as your own stories to solidify yourself as somebody who can help you. Because I've done it aside from being in Sub Two and being a full time real estate investor, doing it as a W-2 at one time or the other. So yeah, man, that's great to know. And obviously, it sounds like you have a lot of value, and obviously, it's being able to be the go-to guy.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to be the go-to, the down low go-to guy.
Mhm.
Um, yes, man. Thank you.
Gotcha. And so with the loss mitigation, I mean, why not stay there when you're doing that, or you think, or was it because it was? Oh, you tell me. Well, why jump into sub two from doing a loan modification, or loss mitigations specialist?
Yeah, it was just, it's the end of the day is a 9 to 5. So, I
Mhm.
mean, imagine I'm helping 60 something people a day with
Right,
they're behind on arrears, just like a lead, behind on
right.
arrears. They need to know what they could do. They need to know their options, how they could,
Mhm.
can they do a loan mod? Can they not? And it gets tiring. And
Gotcha.
after years of doing it, you grow numb to the stories too. It's like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, this person died in my family, and so that's why I'm on foreclosure. I'm like, oh man, this sucks, but I've already
Right.
heard it so many times that.
Got
So
it.
just dealing with it every day, 9 to 5. I'm like everyone else. It's like I want
Mm.
freedom on time.
Gotcha. Okay. And as far as obviously being numb to it, to where you created a sort of callus, just like a doctor, or doctor sees somebody bloody coming in at 1 in the morning, maybe that newer doctor or maybe that the nurse is all scared. And here comes young Carlo. I got this. Give me a scalpel, give me some stitches, because you've seen it over, and so you don't react that way. To where a lot of times, what I'm learning, Giancarlo, is the emotional part of speaking to somebody that is going to foreclosure, to where they're attached to the property, but it's learning one way or other. And you have a lot of those skills of how to be able to separate the emotion from the situation, to where and being able to guide them through the steps that you know of from your previous job, and also what you've been learning on the fly as you get better each and every day.
Yeah, it's true, and it translates to helping out investors and wholesalers with their leads, buyers with their leads. Oh my gosh, you don't understand, Giancarlo. Like you don't understand this lead is in a it's just different. I'm like, yeah, let me hear. Talk to them. Oh, okay. I don't the cool thing is, George, at a certain point, you don't even have to know the story anymore.
Right.
When you're dealing with foreclosure, you just need to know the facts. It's pretty
Right.
black and white. That's the benefit
True.
of foreclosures. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'm sorry they went through that, but here's how I can you can actually get helped.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, and as far as being a specialist in this area, do you concentrate on this? Because I know you just said you're kind of undercover, so this is not your primary or one of your primary sources of incomes. Is more like like kind of like Clark Kent, like oh man, I need to save a foreclosure. Boom, put on your Superman suit and get to work. Or how does that work?
Yeah, that's actually a perfect way to describe it. Yeah, it's like that thing that either you know or you don't know. Because I in the
Mhm.
beginning I put a bunch of posts, but then I got flooded, overwhelmed with help.
Uh,
So now I'm kind of down low. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But
gotcha.
but I'm very responsive. There's benefits because the ones who are really helping people in this domain,
Right.
they're busy. They're all busy.
Right.
So you need with foreclosures, you need someone who's responsive and
Right.
urgent. Hey, the auction is tomorrow. That's most of my texts and calls are, hey, the auction's tomorrow. It's like, all right,
Gotcha.
I got you.
Cool,
So
cool. Man, that sounds good, Giancarlo. Obviously, my latest, because part of my, I guess what I'm still trying to figure out everything within the realm too, but it is being interesting and helping out people in foreclosure. Number one, going through that back in 2003, but also recently going through it and just joining sub two and kind of like similar to you, having a W-2. But for me, I just took that leap of faith where I didn't really know. Oh man, you just can't throw money into the business. You can't just tell a VA to call. You have to at least learn know something or at least guide them to the right spot to where it is going through foreclosure maybe like a year ago or so. But luckily, using that one of those programs that you mentioned, the homeowner association foundation, where they granted me a pretty good amount of money and they even paid a couple months ahead of time, to where that kind of got
yeah,
me kind of got me close to the big man upstairs. Like, all right, God, I know I'm not losing this property. I know why I'm in this situation because I may be struggling or not doing this the right way, but I am reaching out to other people. And I think in that sense, Giancarlo is being able to be transparent and like, oh, what do you know about foreclosure? Like, mofo, I'm going through it right now. I'm trying to get,
yeah,
I'm trying to help you out so I can potentially get a deal, and then I can catch up on my own mortgage, and like that'll drop their guard and kind of, all right, this is what's going on with me. And so, actually meeting a lot of sub two students that way as well. When they would call me, because obviously my house would pop up on the list, and I'd be cool. Like if you were to call me, hey, how you doing, Giancarlo? What's up? Hey, how you doing with your property? I'm doing great. What do you mean you're doing great? It's like I know I'm behind, but I'm here. I'm doing the same thing you are. What do you mean? I'm a real estate investor. I'm calling foreclosures just like you are, and actually creating a couple relationships and actually getting some money out of it. Where now that they knew I'm in Houston, they're like, George, can you walk a property for me? I was like, cool.
mm,
Now I was like, oh man, Giancarlo, not only can I walk this property for you, but do you have a buyer? No, I don't. Oh wow, and it's kind of getting like, wow, this is the big man upstairs works in mysterious ways. But yeah,
yeah,
I love this community, and like say it's meeting, reaching out to people like you, and obviously first time meeting you today, and obviously working on that relationship, and that's where a lot of people get it wrong. Where no, I just don't want Giancarlo to be my foreclosure go-to guy. No, how can I help you, Giancarlo? What is it that you need from me, and then building on a relationship, and hopefully, having fun and making money down the road.
heck yeah, man. That's what it's all about. Network connections, and like you
Mhm.
said, knowing people in select areas just helps so much.
Gotcha. And and just curious, Giancarlo, on the foreclosure, obviously the knowledge. Is it once you do one, is it basically the same thing in every state, or do certain states have little bit differences when they going through the process of potentially helping them?
It's different variables. I
Mm.
mean, you have it's not really the only variable that in which the state is a variable is through with bankruptcy, filing bankruptcy,
Oh,
and
okay.
counties. The
Hmm.
counties in the states becomes a variable. the banks become a variable.
Hmm.
Loan care, you can submit a mortgage assistance application 2 weeks, um, within 2 weeks of the auction. Well, most banks has to be more than 37 days away from the auction.
Gotcha.
So the banks are a variable, counties of states are variables, and yeah, most people don't know that the servicer, the bank, is actually the most important variable.
Okay.
Everyone's like, "Oh, I mean, I gotta." Yeah, it could be in Alaska, George, and we can stop it. Like, it doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, you're dealing with the banks. A lot of people are just with it on a simple level, but like, if you know the law, how to work with loss mitigation department, you can
Hmm.
really do a lot of damage in a good way.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Well, I want to share. I had just recently here in Houston in Harris County. I had a foreclosure. I think was it August. I guess the Tuesday, the first Tuesday of August. Individual wanted to finally work with us. He signed the agreement over the weekend, and then Monday I was like a chicken with my head cut off. I tried to call the mortgage company, but I guess I was calling the wrong person because it seemed like whenever I called the number, it seems like I was getting connected with like their VA, like a VA call center, to where it seemed like I had to submit the agreement, the proof of funds, and some paper they were asking for via email. I had to wait 2 hours later, check in on that, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" To where I had to do it multiple times, to where in that instance, Giancarlo, what do you feel like other than calling you now that I know who to call, but what could have been done better in that situation when we do fall into it? Because I know from my experience, obviously, I'm getting better at becoming that problem solver. So obviously, if I can talk to them closer, way farther than the actual auction date. It's opening up and giving them those options that we may be able to provide. But when it comes to the last minute, what could I have done better in that scenario?
Yeah. How many days before the auction was it?
It was like that weekend, like on Saturday he signed, and then the Tuesday coming up was when the auction day was actually happening.
Mm, okay. Yeah. Because with most banks, you have to, if you want to stop it with the contract, have you
Mm,
heard of that approach? Well,
right.
most banks, you have to submit it, send it to the bank 2 days before the auction. Some
Oh,
banks can do it the day before, but most banks 2 days, and then you end up following up the next day in the evening. Yeah, it stopped. You're like, hooray! But in your case, where you only have,
it's hours.
1 business day,
Yeah, one
yeah,
business.
it may have to be Chapter 13.
Oh, okay,
Filing skeleton petition,
got you.
bankruptcy. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. Okay.
So
Well, hopefully I don't run into that, but like obviously, like I said, the goal is to get to them before it gets to the end, or use that as a third party source to tell them, hey, bro, or hey, Mrs. Seller, please don't
yeah,
wait till the last minute because I felt bad because I was trying to help this individual and I couldn't because they waited till the last minute and I didn't have the right resources or the right personnel to stop it. But knowing now, to follow chapter 13, but also learning that even though we're not legal advisors, is telling them you can do it. But obviously, I know there's ways where you can direct them the right way to do it on their own.
right. Yeah, exactly. And that's something I also help with too for
Okay,
anyone watching. So yeah, I
gotcha.
can help facilitate that.
Okay. Cool, John Carl. I did have another. I'm just asking you a question, so hopefully, I'm not
Oh, go
just
ahead.
throwing that. You did mention chapter 13, because at one time when I was facing it here lately, I forget which chapter I ran, and I made the mistake where I said, "Let me file for bankruptcy," because I know I'm not gonna go all the way through with it. I just need to postpone the date. But when I realized not only did I freeze my mortgage, I froze everything to where just a couple weeks before I actually paid off I didn't pay off a credit card, but I put a big chunk on it. Said, "Oh man, I got this money to hold me back." And when I go to use it, like everything's frozen. Like what? Oh man, I could have kept that
Yeah,
money on my own person. So, is there a difference between chapter 7 and chapter 13?
there is. But like you said, it depends if you go through with it, because
Okay,
you have 14 days when you file the
right.
skeleton, whatever the shell, the light filing. You have
Hmm.
14 days to complete the rest of the packet. 13 allows you to keep everything, but you're paying it all back in 3 to 5 years, a payment plan. Chapter
Gotcha.
7 is like you're trying to walk away from it completely.
Okay, gotcha. Well, hopefully,
Yeah.
Not going wood. I'll never have to go through that, but now I'll know if because I know there's a time frame too. Where it's not like you can do that all the time. Correct with the bankruptcies, or you have to pay for them.
You can't, yeah, like if you have a lead, for example, and they told you they did one, ask them when. There has to be more, usually more than 6 months, 180 days. So if they did it
Okay.
within the last 3 months, just tell them 50-50 chance it'll
50.
go through.
Gotcha, Giancarlo. And I did notice, and I don't know if this is a common practice. Two foreclosure leads, obviously, they want to keep their property. There was nothing I could have done since they said they were wanted to keep it. So obviously, I was asking what steps have they taken. And I know one individual, they the day before foreclosure, they actually came up with the amount of money to stop it. But the mortgage company still went through with it. So right now they're hopefully this legal this lawyer is working with them, and we're noticing that the mortgage company is not really showing up at the court date. So yeah, I don't know if you notice if that's a common practice or that's just individual mortgage companies maybe handling their business the wrong way. Because I got two situations that are similar to that, to where it feels like the seller saying that, man, this mortgage company is committing fraud because I'm making payments. I don't know why I'm appearing on the foreclosure date. I mean, on the foreclosure list, and so now they're hiring a lawyer to obviously help them out.
I mean, whew, so when I worked for like the banks, I'll tell you, like the sellers are always right.
Mm,
Like they would always be right.
yeah.
Like we're always wrong. The bank is always wrong. But honestly, a lot of them are wrong. Most of them are wrong.
Okay.
I submitted the paperwork for the loan modification, but they won't tell you that they never completed it. They
Yeah.
submitted it, but they didn't complete it. So I mean, in that like those cases you mentioned, George, first of all, to reinstate, you need a reinstatement payoff. You need
Right.
the wire instructions. So if they don't have the payoff, I don't even know if in most cases the bank or the trustee is allowed to receive a payment.
Okay.
So yeah, it's important. You just first thing you do with these leads, if you know it's heading in the direction, just get the payoff, get the ability to even wire it, so that if it's a last
Gotcha.
minute thing, you just boop, you can wire it and then follow up after.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And I did have. Let me look up. I did because I told a couple of friends I was gonna have a superstar on here. I said, George, can you ask him this? And I think it had to do with basically the topic of knowing in your mind. Obviously, I can help you, ma'am or sir. And a lot of times they ask, "Can I stay in the property?" What is your advice in those situations?
Yeah, most people want to keep their home. I mean,
Right.
it can be like 2 days before the auction, they're like, yeah, I really want to keep it, George. I'll be honest. Like, I want to keep it. I know my auction's tomorrow, and I'm behind 500,000, but I just want to keep it. You know what I mean? That's literally what you're gonna do with.
Yes.
So what I have done, or have helped other wholesalers who bring me the leads, I JV would do is just run through all the options. All right, can you reinstate it? No. Can you borrow the money from a family? No. Can you take out a personal loan? No. Run through all the options and be like, be honest, the best thing, and then that's when you go into a story on how you help someone who
Okay.
wanted to keep it but maybe couldn't because of this similar situation, and walk them through everything so they know, damn, there's no way I can keep it.
Gotcha.
Some of them they just can't keep it.
And what's the usual scenario where they want to work with you because obviously you walk them through the process and they'll go with the either the cash option or if it turns into a sub two, go down that route as well.
Yeah, I think the key of foreclosures is building trust.
True.
They can keep it, just build trust. Just be the guy who's being building rapport. At the
Right.
end, a lot of them will change. At the end, they're like,
Gotcha.
I can't keep it. You're right. And then you proceed to help them escape foreclosures. Like, look, you can't keep it, but at least you don't have to go through foreclosure. Oh,
Yes.
really? Yeah, this is how. Boom, this guy buys it, whatever, you wholesale it. So,
Hmm. Cool, man. That sounds good. And I like how like obviously with your experience, and it seems very easy to where somebody like, and I can see it myself. Obviously, I still got a long way to go, but it is after you heard them all, you kind of know every scenario to where I can categorize a foreclosure where either you had a very something really financially happen in your life or your finances it caused you to be behind, or maybe something like somebody passed away or there was like say a loss of income, but at the end of the day you still had to take that action or take that initiative to reach out, like you said, to the mortgage company. How can you help me? And a lot of times, some people do put their what do you call their head in the sand, and they expect somebody like me to call you last minute and say, "Hey, how can we help this person?" And obviously, you sound like well, you are, you will sound like giving the option, like have you have the money for this? It sounds like the only thing to do is to sell it and then leave it up to them.
Yeah, foreclosures is a lot like having a garden and planting many seeds of different
Mm-hmm.
kinds. And some will, reap, some will water, you water them all, and some will grow and some won't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like foreclosure. So some may grow, but then grow a little and then die, and then some
Right.
blossom and beautiful trees. But some you may never see the fruition of the watering and sowing. So you just gotta keep planting seeds before just
Gotcha. True.
keep
True.
helping.
Got it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Giancarlo, because I do know one of my friends here in Houston, Mark Anthony. I kind of held him like I call him a foreclosure king, and a lot of actually his latest rental he got from obviously helping the person go through foreclosure. He didn't get the property, but he was able to guide her through the process where she was able to borrow the money to stop the to what do you call it, reinstate the account, but knowing the fact that sometimes, even though they reinstate the account, we never figured out why they were in the foreclosure. To where, luckily, as he would follow up with her, he was making it more about her and not really the property. So either I think a year later, after doing that consistently,
I
he was.
remember that.
You
Yeah,
know about the story?
Mark. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Mark. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Mhm,
good guy. He told
mhm.
me that, yeah, George, that's the key. Separate the person from the property, and basically it turned out, hey, Mark, seems like I can't deal with this anymore. It looks like I'm gonna go into foreclosure again. How can you help me? And then boom, because like you're saying, he created the rapport, so there was no trust issues in that situation, and that's where I think
Yeah,
even myself, need to practice more. Even though that person said they took care of it, it's good to follow up with them. And sometimes they may be annoyed, but it's just, being able to get that ego out the way and just make it about them.
yeah. That's a crazy lead. Mark was watering that seed for a while, right? He was watering, watering, watering.
Yeah. He was.
Oh, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's so true, man. It's so true.
Sweet, man. Well, you did mention you have a bunch of rental properties. Would any of these rental properties that you own come from foreclosures, or your different ways of getting those different
Yeah,
acquisitions?
a handful of them did. A
Mm-hmm.
handful of them came from foreclosures. Not even of my own lead generation, others,
Nice.
but they came from foreclosures nonetheless. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And I guess even though you say pretty much once you done one, you done them all, is there any that you can recall was maybe your toughest, or you don't have any? Not you're like a seasoned gladiator. We're like, come on, give it to me.
Right. I mean, I think the hardest ones are the ones where you're not like I've dealt with one was really hard. I was a lead in California, and we were dealing with like a private institution, a hard money private. It wasn't a federal
Okay.
lender, so
Oh
it's
wow.
not a FHA loan, conventional VA. It's not a nice lender that's big. No, it's a smaller one. Like the guy wanted to put it in auction,
Right.
like wanted it to go to auction. This guy, so
Mm.
we had to battle. We saved it, but it was such a hair thin situation.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sometimes, like I say, it goes back to that emotion part where you want to help, but then if they don't want the help, it's like, but they want you to do so much. Going back to what you said, like, I'm half a million behind Giancarlo, but I want to keep it. Like you can't keep it, Mister or Mrs. Seller, and just have to go through that.
Yeah.
And obviously know that you're not gonna save everybody, and that's one thing I think I'm learning slowly but surely, is that you can only help people that want to help themselves.
It's true. You'll get crazy leads. There's leads where they'll want you to wire the reinstatement for them and then
Yes.
sell it after. It's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, sure, right? So you got to be careful too, foreclosures.
True, true, true. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I did have something came up to my mind. I've been running into a couple people that have been foreclosed on, but due to tax liens, either property, with the property taxes or HOA. On those,
Mm.
Giancarlo, would they be similar to? Well, no, no, I know they're different because obviously you they have maybe certain redemption periods, unlike a foreclosure, mortgage foreclosure. It's normally if you lost it, you lost it. But with the redemption period, I was wondering, would you advise me? And I've been kind of thinking about this. If say this lead, he wants me to give him money to pay off the redemption amount, but he's gonna sell me the house. There's no way I can secure that money. Say you give me that money, Giancarlo. Hey, Giancarlo, give me 45K, or matter of fact, give me 50. So I use the 45K to pay off the redemption period. The property is gonna go back to his name, but I'm gonna give him 5K, and he's gonna give me the property. Do you know about that, or would you advise that?
Yeah, it's something that has been brought up a lot. That type of transaction. I think I feel like it should be possible, and if it
Right.
is,
In
it
logic.
yeah, if that can be executed with properly, I think that's a game changer. But I think the issue is getting the right paperwork and stuff for
True.
that. I don't think anyone's done it yet,
Okay.
there's been people that transfer the deed right before the auction. Like, hey,
Oh,
just
okay.
transfer me the deed. Boom, it goes to auction, and then they collect the person who got it switched to their name. They collect the proceeds.
Oh,
Crazy stuff like that.
got it.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tricks with foreclosures that are yet unexplored, I think.
There you go. And that's
So,
that's the beauty of being a creative financings. Hmm. Has this been done before? Let me just get my lawyer and run it by them
yeah,
and see if this makes sense. But cool, man. Well,
right.
I think I think hopefully I asked as much and coming from somebody novice as far as obviously this is not your main source. You actually just help people based on your experience on the W2 side of learning this. If somebody say needs you, is there a certain like filter where you're not getting bombarded? Because I'm sure you have your number on here, so based on my small little community
Oh,
that
sure.
is following me, like, oh man, I'm gonna go to Giancarlo directly. Is there a certain way you rather them reach back to you as far as getting help or getting information for a certain foreclosure situation?
Yeah, I mean, text is fine, or Facebook Messenger is also
Hmm.
fine because I do talk to a lot of people there.
Hmm.
Um, Either one of those works.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, and just curious, Giancarlo, where are you at in the nation?
I'm in Miami, Florida.
Oh, okay, nice. For some reason, I thought you were in San Antonio this whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I don't know why. Because I think you mentioned you had buyers out there, so maybe I just added two and two together. I
Mm,
may have mistaken you with somebody else that had buyers in San Antonio.
maybe, yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool.
No, I know a lot of people there though.
Okay.
A bunch of sub two people in Texas.
Yeah. Hey, of course, if you're the go-to foreclosure guy, I'm pretty sure you're gonna know a lot of people within sub two and probably outside of it as well.
Right.
Mhm. Cool,
Wow.
cool. And as
Uh,
far as I mean, I know. Are you currently buying anything right now?
yeah, I buy in Birmingham, Alabama, and flips in Tampa, Florida.
Nice, nice. Okay, so if anybody has something there, I should reach out to you as well. And if it's a foreclosure situation, even better. Not only can you help them, but you can probably buy it.
Yeah, foreclosures we can help nationwide, even Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Doesn't
Gotcha.
matter.
Okay. I did. One of my friends did ask about Hawaii, so I'll know who to direct them to.
Oh, really? Yes, Hawaii would
Yes.
be cool. Be nice
Cool.
to own something, help out there.
Yeah.
Heck
Have you
yeah.
have you closed something in Hawaii or
I've
helped out
helped
with the
some,
foreclosure?
yeah, sub two
Cool.
members. Hmm.
Nice, nice.
So,
Well, Giancarlo, it's like I say, I appreciate your time. I think I've asked everything, and like I say, I'll probably be watching this over again to just to get, what questions did I ask? Because I know a lot of them come up with part of my outreach is to foreclosures, and I guess if you would you know the best way of doing or reaching out to them? Because I know with trying to cold call them and getting the best number possible, but it's also maybe adding the door knocking portion of it, and that would be best. Because from what I know, it's a lot of people if they're going through foreclosure, more than likely they'll cancel their number or switch it. That way they're not getting bombarded with those calls. Or would you have any knowledge on that aspect?
yeah, I mean, from what I've witnessed, experience, all approaches work.
Mm-hmm.
All approaches work. But I will say, if there's any grace or ability for door knocking's very powerful.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
gotcha.
You have the means to door knock. I'm just saying it's pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, just having
Uh,
seen that face, and hey, I'm just your regular Joe Schmo. I'm just here trying to help you out. I have the resources, but do you want the help? It's a couple weeks from
yeah.
foreclosure. Obviously, I don't want to seem like I'm pressuring you or anything. I just want to know where you at in the process and how can I help you. Stuff like that, I guess. Same as cold calling, but obviously they see your face, so you may get a little bit further than that random cold call.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, the auction's tomorrow.
Hurry
Mr.
up.
Smith, what are you gonna do, Mr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't let them be too old. You can give them a heart attack. But
Right.
cool,
Yeah, man.
man. Well, I guess, yeah, I appreciate your time, and obviously, I'll be able to reach out to you or anybody that needs your help via text or messenger. And I couldn't help but look at those cool headphones, man. As far as cold calling, through cold calling, do you suggest those headphones, or you just happen to be? I like these.
These are, truth be told, these are my wife's headphones.
Oh,
Uh, she likes to buy high ticket items, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this for George. George deserves this.
oh man,
Deserves
you
this
made me feel
podcast.
good. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, well, I guess I don't want to get sued for copyright, so I may have to ask you that on the messenger. What
Yeah,
brand they are, unless they want to sponsor me, that'd be cool. But
yeah,
that's
that'd be cool. Yeah.
you're right. But cool, man. Is there anything I can do for you at this time other than obviously have your information in the description and hopefully add some more subscribers to my channel.
Hey, I can always welcome leads. Always welcome JV opportunities, loan mod, bankruptcy, referrals, leads. Whatever helps get buy the steak. You know what I mean? Whatever helps buy the steak, feed the
There you go.
dogs.
No,
Always open to
there you
that.
go. There you go. No, no. Every once in a while, it's good to eat ramen, but it's better to eat a couple steaks.
Yeah, I feel like we're heading that path where ramen's gonna be
Yeah,
necessary for everybody, right?
no, that's right, man. Well, Giancarlo, like I said again, appreciate your time, and
Yes,
hopefully,
thank you.
people get value out of this, and I think I can use this not only just for YouTube, but I probably can use this as a tool to give somebody in the form of a like what call it a testimonial, or hey, Mr. Seller, I know you got a couple weeks left, but here goes my partner. He can help me out in this situation, and maybe by hearing us, talk about what's going on, it's like, you know what, George, okay, I think I want to work with you, and I understand that I may not be able to save my property, but at least I see that you have the right resource that can help me, at least move on to the next chapter in my life.
Right, exactly. And I'm always here to help you or anyone watching. And thank you again, George, for having me on this podcast. And reach out to me, man. Any other questions if it pops up, just reach
Pops
out.
up. All
Be
right.
happy to help anybody, man.
Gotcha, Giancarlo. Well, thank you again, and I look forward to, like, say, tossing some leads your way and say, hey, Giancarlo, I need your help. And by the way, man, what shampoo do you use? Like, I need work on my hair too.
Pantene, man. Pantene. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know, to be honest. Whatever the wife buys, I use.
There you go. There, I'll ask my wife then to give me some stuff. But
Uh,
thank you again for your time, and yeah, everybody reach out to Giancarlo if you need anything, and also me, I'm always here in Houston, willing to help out as well. But thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, George, man.
All
Have an
right,
awesome day.
you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.